Well, good afternoon. Welcome into a beautiful Sunday afternoon here at the North Harbour Stadium Outer Oval for round 6 of the ISPS Handa Women's Premiership. Andrew Dewhurst with you alongside Priscilla Duncan. Scylla, welcome in. Beautiful day. And it's a day when we expect the Northern Lights, the home team, to come out with maybe a little bit of fire in the belly, because I understand they've been told off this week. They weren't happy with their performance last week. But good afternoon. Welcome in.
Yes, good afternoon. Thanks, Andrew, and kia ora koutou to everyone listening around wherever you are. And I think that's the message we've heard from the coaches of our northern team here, that they were very, very disappointed after a 2-1 loss last weekend to that Waikato team, and will be absolutely fired up to get the 3 points here. They absolutely need to stay in the running to make that final. They've got 2 games left and they need to win both. So, it should be a very good battle out here today.
Yeah, and listen, that's no disrespect to the Waibot team, deserving of their win, but that's what we've heard from Northern Lights. That was a game that they targeted to pick up 3 points. We have a look at their lineup, and it is stacked with internationals at age group and full international level. And Elite, of course, will lead this team from the back, if you like, not as captain, but goodness me, for a young player, she's got so much experience at international level right across all of New Zealand's representative teams. The teams make the long walk. It is a long walk across to the far side of the oval here as we bring you this action from North Harbour Stadium, and they head across. So Northern Lights up against a central football lineup that has struggled in the Premiership this season. They have just the 1 point courtesy of a draw, which was in fact with Waikato Bay of Plenty, and that is their lineup today. Barry Scullion is their coach. Natalie Olsen will play up front, wearing the number 13, with Aniela Jensen sitting just in behind in the high midfield role. So this certainly, they're at home, they're up against a central team that's been struggling. This is one the Northern Lights will have targeted absolutely, bounce back or not, that's irrelevant. They must and should win this game today.
Yeah, the equation is very easy for them. As I said before, they've got 2 games left, and with the result yesterday from the Mainland Pride beating Capital, they've pushed out there and looking like they will be the ones to beat. It will be a great game next week, actually, with Northern playing the Pride, but their focus will have to be on today's game to get the 3 points. But let's not forget, Central will be fired up as well. They're coming off the back of a really good game last week. They lost only 1-0 to Capital, and arguably they could have got easily a point out of that game, if not more. So their finishing just let them down a bit, and I guess they will take confidence from that performance and see what they can do here, and perhaps upset the last year's finalists, the Northern Lights.
Referee Lindsay Robinson with the blow of the whistle to bring the captains together, and for Central that's Aniela Jensen, and for Northern Lights Chloe Knott. So the coin toss to decide just who will play in which direction and who will have the kick-off. Final instructions being given by Lindsay. Yeah, so far this season, Central Football, their results a 9-1 defeat against Auckland, 2-2 against Waikato Bay of Plenty, 6-0 defeat against Canterbury, and that 1-0 defeat that Scylla mentioned against Capital last week. And for the Northern Lights, it's been a patchy campaign. They started with a 1-1 draw against Capital, 3-0 winners over Southern, 4-1 over Auckland. That probably, without question, their performance of the campaign so far. But then they backed that up with the loss against Waikato Bay of Plenty to kind of... They jumped up a couple of steps and then came back one, didn't they? So consistency's been an issue for the Lights this season.
Yeah, and I was here 2 weekends ago when they beat Auckland 4-1, and absolutely I think it was their best performance of the campaign, and perhaps they just got a bit complacent the next weekend going down to Hamilton, and they will certainly not be able to do that here at home. But I think they'll remember that victory against Auckland on their home field here. It's perfect conditions for them, and so I think they're wanting to remember that performance perhaps more than the one last weekend.
Final huddle, final instructions amongst the players. They'll have heard, I'm sure, Barry's final words in the dressing room, and now head out there to try and put in place that tactical approach from the coaching staff. But now it's up to the players, as they will be very keen to build on that close loss against Capital last week. Just about ready to get underway. It will be Central playing from left to right, and Northern Lights in the black and white stripes. They'll be playing from right to left. We see the number 9, very experienced campaigner. I talked about Anne Elite, Emma Ketty at 33 years of age, 50 caps for New Zealand, and she'll be fired up to perhaps lead her team from the front, but also get a couple of goals herself this campaign. So Central immediately give possession away, and Knots forced out wide on the right wing side. Giving possession away though. This will be crucial for Central. See the breeze just having a bit of an effect as well. They're going to be playing into that breeze in the first half. And at times, and that's just a little example of it, at times with the wind behind you, it can be more difficult if you play a pass into space. Sometimes the wind just gets in behind that ball and takes it beyond your attacking teammates. So that an example of it there just over the goal line. But we see the corner flag. So that is a decent breeze, isn't it, that Central are going to have to play into?
Yeah, and you'll think that you mentioned Emma Keddy, that Northern will be, I guess, making the most of her breaking through the line against Central, so they'll have to watch her. Very, very experienced. I'm very interested to see how she goes today. The front three have been pretty consistent, actually, with Maynard, Pritchett and Sam Tawharu, but it's good to see Keddy now get a start and see what she can do in this game.
Yeah, Sam's on the bench for this one, and the other two players you mentioned, Maynard and Pritchard, they've got 3 goals between them. Pritchard with a couple this season, so that might take a little time just to settle in that formation, as another one of those passes, as I described, just played over the top. But they're going to have to really try and look to play to feet, unless you're right up near the halfway line. Then you can play over the back of the defenders and see whether or not the ball will just hold up.
Yeah, hopefully they've learned quickly from that, already putting it long a couple of times in a row there. And they certainly can play it around 2 feet with that midfield of Liz Savage and Knott and Amalia Steinmetz. That's arguably the best midfield in the campaign, really. So definitely ball players who like to have the ball at their feet.
We're still getting a little too congested, as we see Saskia Vosper with the throw, playing in the left fullback position, and even on the throw they just haven't made the adjustment yet. Have Northern Lights. They're going to have to get used to, both teams I think will get used to playing a lot of football in this area of the field. It will be something of a defensive rearguard from Central, both in terms of their position on the table and the conditions here today in the first half anyway. They're going to struggle, I think, to clear their lines. Again, the Lights straight back. It's a nice little offload there out wide from Ketty. Now they can switch out onto the left wing side. Vosper just rolls the pass, and that's better into feet. Try and build the attack with some patience. Maynard delivers that across. Has that taken a touch off Central? It has. So first corner of the match will go the way of the Northern Lights. Always an opportunity, isn't it, in conditions like this? And if you are the stronger team, the fullbacks will be looking to get forward, won't they? Both Vosper and Stratford get forward in attack and support their attacking players.
And interesting to see here, their first corner of the game. Liz Savage is always really good and strong header of the ball, so see if she can get on the end of this first one.
Well, she'll be doing well to get on the end of that one. That was a disappointing execution, and it's those sorts of moments. They're coach killers, those. Practice on the training field, but first you must deliver the ball into the danger area. Clearance from Simmers. I think she's going to be busy with those clearances, either from goal kicks or indeed from general play, the Central goalkeeper. That's nice through the middle of the park, though, on that occasion for Central. Intercepted by Vosper. And Northern Lights on attack again. A lot of recent play down this left wing side. Fernell. Team shape that we were given had Fennell listed as a right wing and Charlotte Lancaster as a left wing, but sort of I think, and certainly based on what you might have caught through the season, that they're just as likely to be employed as midfielders, aren't they, rather than just out and out attacking players.
Yeah, and I spoke with some of the Northern players this week, and they've been preparing for Central to play that sort of 4-4-1-1 with two blocks in defence quite deep. So just sort of starting to see that, see how that plays out. And Northern really want to either get their fullbacks up, providing that width that you talked about, or with their front three. So I think those are the two things they've worked on in the week. Just really trying to get that width so that they can get through those defensive blocks.
Patience here from Northern, just getting plenty of passes and an opportunity to get everyone involved in the game. It's a lovely delivery from
great distribution.
An elite, and always a bonus if your goalkeeper can play as a sweeper and not just belt the ball aimlessly down the park, but look for a teammate. That was certainly the case there from Leet. Still find it hard to believe she's still only 19. Seems like with all the international play. And of course, back in the headlines, I think, again at the moment with the Hellberg Awards, they're looking for the moment of the decade in New Zealand sport, and those penalty saves in that Under-17 World Cup are up there in contention, I believe.
Yeah, I saw that this week as well. I believe it was for her scoring the last penalty as well.
Oh, okay.
She turned around and got the fifth penalty against Japan that took them through to the semi-final of that tournament in Uruguay in 2018. So that's up there, and people can get in and vote for hellbergawards.co.nz, I think. So hopefully all the football fans out there will go on and do that.
Northern Lights, that was promising, but couldn't quite. Steinmetz and Central able to clear their lines for the moment, not getting lots of touches on the ball. The English player was talking with the coaching staff again. I believe in Silla, I don't know if you know the background to this or not, but I believe that Chloe's just a couple of weeks out from actually qualifying for New Zealand. That came out from England, but something to do with the timing of her move, that she misses out on that eligibility by just a matter of a couple of weeks. As she's on the ball now, and chance here in the penalty area. Is that a penalty? No, there was a decent shout there. Gosh, I did wonder if the Central player was the wrong side there of Pritchard. But the officials, and there's not too much complaining, is there, from Northern Lights? It does look to me as though Pritchard was favourite there to try and get a shot on goal, but well, I say no decision. The decision was that the challenge was fair. Also could well have a bit of sibling rivalry today with Eve Barry, sister of Mackenzie. Mackenzie's playing at the back, the number 17. She may well get a touch here. Go on, get a touch perfectly on cue. Well done, Mackenzie. But sister Eve is on the bench for Central, so we'll keep an eye on that as the game plays out.
Yeah, that's the challenge of the Central team over the years, actually. Mackenzie Barry is a good example of someone that has moved out of the area, obviously grew up and could be playing for Central, but now has chosen to play for Northern and involved in that New Zealand development squad. And so that Central often lose their players like that. You've got Anna Green, who grew up in Palmerston North, also has played for Capital down the years. Just a vast area, and one of their biggest challenges. You'll see this squad here very young, and the most promising players often just move on and go to the big centres for football opportunities or study. Yeah,
I was going to say, it's not always football that takes them away. It's not. We don't want to paint the big cities as stealing the players, but often it is. It's study, or it's work, or it's life generally, and it can be difficult, as you say, sort of to hold on to that young talent, but they should take a great deal of pride nonetheless at developing those players. It's a little bit like if you like, perhaps a smaller club in any football system anywhere around the world, and they promote their players on to bigger clubs and bigger leagues. Here's Steinmetz. This could well be her last game for Northern Lights as well. I believe signed with Perth. So she could be playing her final game, or certainly in the final couple of weeks of her current spell here in New Zealand, Steinmetz.
Yeah, look, it's great to see some of our players going over to the W League, and it's interesting to see her playing today, and perhaps I think some of the other players that have signed for those Australian teams have rested or chosen not to play these games, but good to see her out there today. Here's Kitty.
With the turn, nice little pass as well, inviting teammates into the game, as all good centre forwards should do in the old-fashioned sense of the words. Just carrying that one over the goal line, though, was Elizabeth Savage, and celebrating a birthday in just under a week on the 11th of December, Elizabeth. So I think it's a notable birthday as well. I think it's the big 3-0 for Elizabeth, offside flag. Yeah,
she will be 30, and it's good. What I like about this Northern team is that balance they have in terms of age and experience. You've got Liz coming up to 30, you've got Nicole Stratford, who's 31, and Emma Kitty, who's 33, I believe. And it shouldn't be rare, but it is quite rare in the women's game. So I think just those players having the experience and being able to have a good influence on those younger ones coming through is a good thing to see.
Central battling well in midfield here, and looking to try and release Olsen, but Leet was alert to the danger. And rare moments here on the right side, literally and figuratively, of the halfway line, as we look at this one for Central. But possession given away, and Lily Jervis out of Forest Hill just back to her keeper, and Leet now across to Mackenzie Barry, one of the younger players at 19 years of age, was also a part of that under 17 New Zealand team in 2018. Foul given away on that occasion. Emma Kitty just a little too aggressive, trying to win the 50-50. Already clear indication that patience is going to be a virtue today for the Northern Lights, but also we've seen a couple of opportunities for Central on the counter-attack, and looks to me as though they've set up to try and release Natalie Olsen if they can, and just get them behind the Northern defenders. And if they can feed off the scraps and just try and play, especially into the wind, a through ball over the back of that Northern defence, then Olsen looks to be a very willing chaser. But they are going to have to play with a good deal of patience, the Northern side. That's a risky crossfield pass. It's going to work out okay, but they do give possession away, but they'll have the consolation of a throw right wing side, and it'll be taken by the police officer Nicole Stratford. Vosper invited into a more central position momentarily. And free kick, they've won a couple over the last few minutes, Central, just taking the sting out of the Northern Lights attack.
Yeah, Central will be happy with this start, I think. Other teams have found them quite hard to break down. Even the 6-0 loss against the Pride team, it took 40 minutes for Canterbury to make the breakthrough. So they really want this to go on for as long as they can, no breakthrough, and hopefully steal one on the counter, like you said.
And almost made it through the last line of the Northern defence, just cleared away, and now it's perhaps Central's turn to be wary of the counter. No, they've got it back again, and there's exactly what I've been talking about. Just dink it through and behind the defenders and have Olsen run on. That wasn't too far off from being a dangerous moment for the Northern Lights, but now on the counter, have they got space to exploit? Steinmetz, in fact, sorry, it's Emma Kitty, turns, runs at them this time. Cross comes in, and a good touch from the keeper, and that was needed too, because Maynard was lurking with real intent there. That's probably the best moment of the game for the Northern Lights, and I think they've got to take note of that, because they kept the ball on the deck, they went wide and got round the back of the Central defence.
Absolutely, they'll be wanting to do that a lot more. First really dangerous cross we've seen coming in there from Liz Savage getting in behind into that space in the pocket in the corner. So, yeah, ball to feet and breaking out wide, I think, is what they need to keep doing, this Northern team.
Yeah, the initial team list I was a bit surprised to see Liz Savage out there on the right. I was given an indication she might have played on the left, but clearly on that right wing side. And it was a really good cross. But let's again highlight Amelia Simmers, because goalkeepers are, well, they're often criticised if they stay and criticised if they come for a ball like that, but just got enough on it and had to, Simmers, to take that away from perhaps an easy tap-in for Maynard.
Yeah, and she came into the game against Capital really thrust into the action, because their usual goalkeeper, Brooke Bennett, was, I believe, injured in that game. So it's good to see. I think she had a good game against Capital coming in, and Simmers now gets her start, and she'll be fired up to, I guess, to prove her worth.
They roll this one, and it stays well in play on that occasion, well, that was pretty good composed work as well there by Simmers, just allowing that one to bounce and spin away for the goal kick. That change up front for Northern that you mentioned, Scylla, it's I guess Emma, as good as her record is, she's got to back the coach here, doesn't she? She's got to say that it's a good decision to give her the start, as that one again eludes Arabella Maynard. So Emma Ketty may well be a little fired up for this one to prove her worth in that front line at the expense of Sam Taforu today. It's not bad though when you can bring a player with 50 caps into a starting lineup. Central again. That's clearly the formula. And Natalie Olsen's job is going to be often a thankless one. She's just going to have to run her socks off and continue to chase. Northern Lights down the left wing side this time with Vosper getting forward to the fullback, as we suggested she and Nicole Stratford might. Not. And it's fumbled this time. Opportunity for the Northern Lights to open the scoring. And just fluffing her lines a little bit there was Pritchard. Well, that was the first sign of nerves perhaps for Amelia Simmers. And Pritchard, not sure she realised how much space she had initially when her back was to goal. And again a fumble, but collected at the second opportunity by Simmers. So a couple of nervous moments there for the keeper.
Yeah, she'll have to put that behind her quickly. Coming in there was the sort of half cross, half shot by Emma Ketty, and then out for a goal kick on the replay there, but Simmers will have to just put that behind her and get her confidence back.
And possibly, I went out and inspected the pitch, of course, as you do, and it's going to roll very nicely, but it is very hard underfoot. And if you do get that almost a half volley in front of you as a keeper, you've just got to judge the bounce and be aware that it's just going to be propelled up at you with a little bit of pace. And I think that's what caught Simmers out there. But there's not a whole lot of grass. It's a very, I guess you describe it as a very quick surface, and one that if there was to be, and there won't be today, rest assured folks, but if there was to be a shower of rain here, it would make it really slippery for the players, because you've got that hard surface underneath, not a whole lot of grass. It's in great condition, but players have just got to adjust, and that wind is complicating things as we've described.
Quite the contrast to last weekend when I was out at Medill's Farm watching Auckland play Southern, and it was a downpour for most of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, well, and Auckland in the summer, and we are very much in the summer now. It's been very much like that over the past 10 days or so. You're never quite sure what you're going to get from one day to the next. Today, though, is Very, very nice. Kitty just losing control. Great interception, goodness me. Absolutely flying through was Barry. And that one straight at the keeper. Nice turn, but again intercepted this time by Jervis over the top. Game just losing its shape for a moment or two. And often when that happens, just appears players are rushing things a little bit, a little over-eager. And that one's under-hit. Chance now for Savage. Down to that byline. Doesn't cross on that occasion, and it proves to be the wrong decision. And just having issues with the sun picking up some of the numbers of the Central players. And it doesn't help, Scylla, that I'm largely colourblind with greens and browns and yellows and what have you. So it is a challenge, though, in these conditions with those numbers on the back of the shirts. I can tell you that Central are on the attack. Olsen waiting in the middle of the park. That one crossed, but nowhere near concerning an elite.
Really good chance just moments ago for Northern, with Liz getting down that right-hand side once more, and I think she took the wrong option there, and you saw Emma Keddy throw her hands up in real frustration. She was making the run to the near post by the looks, and
almost needed the same cross from that play 3 or 4 minutes earlier, didn't it?
Absolutely.
And strikers can be very unforgiving. If they've made the run and those wide players don't deliver, do you think they're going to hear about that? Half time? You bet. A misdirected pass, and Central will have the throw left wing side. So Central lining up across the back. Caitlin Watts at right back, Jana Niedermeyer and Samantha Woolley centre backs, and Georgie Van Leenen at left back. And so far they have had to be very alert, very much the busier defensive unit of the two teams. And Elite gets a rare touch, and they've almost without exception they've been with the feet for the Northern goalkeeper. Jervis goes long, intercepted. That one over the sideline, Central throw, and it will be left by Furnell, Georgie Furnell, and it is Caitlin Watts.
Watts is also a representative in squash for New Zealand.
Wow.
The right back for Central, so multi-talented obviously.
Central with an opportunity here, and it's not just Olsen that's forward on attack, so they've got some numbers here down to the byline, and they force a corner. So well played Central, and that's that game plan that we've talked about. Just hold, soak up the pressure, and when you get the chance, if fitness levels allow, and we're still early in this one, then flood that middle and attacking third and get there in support. So best moment of the match so far for Central.
And we've seen Northern waste an opportunity for a corner just earlier in the half, so we'll really want to see a good delivery here from Central. They won't want to do the same there.
Van Leenen, it is with the left foot from the left wing side, so out swinging all the way and right into the danger zone, but Van Leenen gets another opportunity with the right foot straight at the keeper, but good moments for Central. That one played out as we have another look at the second attempt, winning the 50-50 and then just shooting on a tough angle straight at Elite.
No trouble there whatsoever for an Elite, but she hasn't been brought into the game much, so I guess it just keeps Northern on their toes. And you saw as she collected it, she was straight out and distributing it to Saskia on the left side. So that's one of the real strengths that Leap brings to this Northern team as well, just her vision and her distribution.
Savage taken away from her though by Florence McIntyre for Central. Just pinned in their own defensive third, but they may be able to clear their lines. No, they come away with it again, Northern through Knott.
Once again, just too many of those through balls. They're going straight, and they need to for their goalkeeper.
Georgie Furnell asking Olsen to chase one, but very wide, and that's about the best result she could have hoped for, is win the throw. Watts looking to switch play. That's nice again from Central. They're coming into this game. They're very much what you suggested, Scylla, that just a steady start, keep it at 0-0 through the opening 20 minutes or so, and they've grown in confidence as a result. Looks very much as though Georgie Van Leenen is going to be charged with the responsibility at set piece time. She's going to take this free kick, and this time the action off the left foot will be in swinging. So Annalete just has to be alert here. The danger zone is just in between the keeper and that line of players, and driving one low, and it would have to be something very special to beat Leet from that distance. Northern flag stays down, went to the right player. Had it gone Central, it would have been offside, and I say Central as in midfield position, not the two teams, but that was an opportunity on the counter attack for Northern. Might argue there, Scylla, they didn't take advantage of it. Let's stay with it though live. They still have possession. Two players waiting in the area. Second attempt at a cross, and Central now with an opportunity to clear the danger. They can't though. Just not forceful enough with the clearance. Northern Lights. And that's out over the sideline, but it was an opportunity back on the halfway line, and had they played the ball a little earlier, you sensed, Northern Lights, they might have been better off.
Interesting also that Northern haven't really had a counter-attacking chance. It felt like the first one for them for the game. So unfortunately, we just had Maynard not squaring the ball quite for that final pass to have any shot on goal.
Knott wins it in midfield. That one just hoisted into the area. A chance with the header. The keeper makes the save. Is it in? Is it? It's still good. It's still good. Didn't cross the line. Well, Arabella Maynard was just watching that unfold and asking the question, but the officials were in good position, and this was certainly a cross that asked some questions of the Central defence.
Yeah, Stratford putting the ball into the danger area there, and you wondered whether the goalkeeper was going to come for it. She makes the save. From the angle that we're at, it looked very close in terms of whether it had crossed the line or not. Some of the Northern players claiming it, but it stays 0-0.
The assistant referee on the far side, Daniel Neville, was in perfect position in the sense that Amelia Simmers wasn't hiding, wasn't covering up the football. He could see the football from that side, so going to suggest that he had a good line of sight on that one, as we have a Central player requiring some attention, and that just provides the opportunity for the two teams. I think they're going to take the chance just to have a little breather and have a drink, and why not? It's not crazy conditions out there by any stretch. That breeze is just keeping the temperature down enough, but it's warm enough that they'll enjoy this little breather, and for both teams to have a chance to talk about it. I mean, what are Northern going to be saying now in this huddle, do you think? What are they getting wrong? What are they getting right?
Well, I just noticed before that Emma Kitty had drifted out to the right-hand side, so I think they're frustrated enough that they're changing things up again a little bit, and Liz Savage had drifted in more centrally. So just see after this break whether they are lining up as they did when they start, as as we see one of the central players there, McIntyre, walking pretty sheepishly there.
Yeah, if you can tell from that rather unsure walk, a problem with the right leg, and just going to get some attention and chat about it for a little longer perhaps before Barry Scullion might be forced into making a decision, and it's not one that he'll want to make, because McIntyre's been a part of that defensive rearguard that so far has largely kept the Northern Lights at bay. They've had a couple of half chances. A couple of those have been on the back of a couple of fumbles from Amelia Simmers. By and large, Central will be pretty happy with the opening half out.
You cross the other side there, you see some of their substitutes just stretching their legs, just being ready if they do need to make that change.
And just seeing at the top of our picture there, McIntyre's already got quite heavy strapping on that right knee. Got some of the kinetic tape, but I think also there's a little bit of strapping that we can't just see, just under the knee and hidden by the sock, so perhaps she's carried a problem into the game. Watts does well. So in the area, and that causes some confusion if nothing else. Savage, and I think you might be right, Scylla, as Savage certainly has been right wing side most of the game and appears to be maybe a little more central. So we'll just keep an eye on that. I think you're right. I think Northern Lights have changed their shape a little. If it's just personnel or whether it's a tactical change with the formation. Not. Again, in the penalty area. They're enjoying some good moments here and they can't get the shot on goal. Ball delivered across, and this time they do open the scoring. Well, you sensed it was coming just in the last couple of moments, really, since that injury concern, and Central just thrown off their stride a little bit. And I don't know that McIntyre got back out there, so they've been down to 10 players sort of right through this spell, and they just persevered, didn't they, Northern?
Yeah, Keddy getting a shot off there, but it was blocked. Fell fortunately to Nicole Stratford, and a great cross coming in from the right. We've had a couple earlier in the game, but that one just absolutely good connection there. And Arabella Maynard scores the goal. It's her second of the campaign, and Northern Lights take the lead.
And we'll just try and chase up. We need eyes in all directions here at the moment as to whether McIntyre has got back out there or if in fact they've made a change. But they might be in trouble here again very quickly, Central. Though it breaks down from the northern side. Did you notice a change, Scylla, while the goal was being celebrated?
No. We have to keep our eyes open. It was good play down the right that I was distracting. Now Central have it.
Looking for Olsen was Fernell, and it's looked a likely combination at times. Georgie Fernell looks to have a bit of pace down this right wing side. Northern will be pleased, if not relieved, at opening the scoring. I can confirm that Eve Barry's out there, so a substitution has been made, and Eve Barry is out there. So we do have the sister act that we talked about earlier. Eve for Central and Mackenzie for Northern. Mackenzie might have just pointed out the scoreline to her sister as she got on the park. That's a mazy run into the area. Ball almost pulled back into the path there of Elizabeth Savage, who was waiting ready to pull the trigger. So a double blow for Central, having conceded the goal and lost one of their starting 11 with Florence McIntyre. As I say, I do wonder whether she carried an injury into the game, but was unable to continue. And Eve Barry, wearing the number 8, is out there for Central.
Yeah, really unfortunate timing for Central. They were very organised on defence, and I think it was just that injury and McIntyre going off the pitch that sort of unsettled them, really, and maybe they just sort of lost concentration, and that was when they sort of gave the opening to Northern.
Yeah, and listen, unless I missed it, and I may well have, but I'm pretty sure they were down to 10 right through that phase of play, so they never quite made the adjustment. And they weren't able to make the substitution quickly enough, as that's a heavy touch from Savage. Straight back out over the sideline. Throw for Central. And they can take some consolation, Central, that they will turn and play with the wind at their backs. And if nothing else, it's just going to help them get out of their defensive third a little more easily, albeit it can be at the expense of possession, of course. You don't want to just be playing the ball long down the park without any real structure to it.
Credit, I think, also to Northern's coaches. They did make that change where Keddy's drifted out to the right, and I think Pritchard's now going straight down the middle, and Maynard on the left. So I guess they knew something wasn't working. Central were just defending really well, and Northern had to change it up. So I think that was also contributing to the goal.
This is nice, left wing side this time. Olsen for Central. Oh, just rode the challenge there. Goodness me, that was a little ill-timed, and the referee, I think, has made a great decision here, just seeing if there was an advantage. The contact was enough for the free kick to be given, so dangerous attacking opportunity now for Central to see if they can get back on level terms. And if they go to script here, it'll be Georgie Van Leenen to swing this in, and of course as soon as I say that, she's nowhere near the ball. So it's Jensen this time, and maybe they just fancy the in-swinger here to bring an elite into the equation. It's always a tricky one, isn't it, if delivery can be around that wall and into that danger area. Get strikers running onto it, defenders running onto it from a set piece.
Yeah, and choosing a right footer here, I guess, rather than Van Leenen, who's left-footed.
Delivery towards the far post. Leet, though, will take those all day, every day. The international keeper. As we have another look, perhaps that one needed to just be driven a little lower. It really just floated a little on that breeze.
Would have liked to have seen her to get more curl on the ball rather than the back spin that you saw there. And no trouble whatsoever for Anna Leet, who hasn't been playing for the Northern, so they'll be happy that she's starting a goal. They've had Erin Hughes, who's also done really well, but Leet back with the team just gives them that confidence from the back, really.
Born in Arrowtown. I did not know that until I did some research today. Arrowtown. Why would you ever want to leave Arrowtown? What a beautiful part of the world. But there we go. There's some information for you folks. This time it is the left fullback Georgie Van Leenen to drive this, and again they've got to be a little more inventive there. It almost doesn't matter that it's an elite in goal. I mean, the fact that she's a very good keeper is more evidence that maybe you shouldn't try that, but into the breeze from that distance.
Yeah, no, they really need to put it in that danger zone just in front of the keeper so that they can get some headers onto the ball rather than especially into the wind there. I think if you had the wind behind you in the second half, maybe those shots on goal from the free kicks, more understandable. Look
at that distribution. Just unable to control it, though, was Vosper. It was belted at her pretty hard, but she might have expected to have at least played that into the path of teammates. That one's too long. Goal kick.
Just not quite the right option there again from Liz Savage. Nicole Stratford had made the run down the right-hand side. Always frustrating as a fullback when you do that and don't get the ball, but she's fit enough, the policewoman.
Yeah, the times they've looked best is when they've used the width, and when you've got the breeze behind you, that's often crucial. Use the full width of the park and play the ball to feet, and then get in around the back of the defenders if you can, with some good old-fashioned wing play. Second half, different kettle of fish altogether. They can belt the ball over the back of Central's defensive line as that one goes wide. She was interested for a moment, wasn't she, Amelia Simmers? Just a couple of nervous little steps there, thinking, do I need to try and go for this? But it did go wide.
Yeah, not a bad effort there. I think changing it up, just a quick shot, turn and shoot. Just didn't quite get her angles right.
But that provides the perfect contrast to what you were just talking about. With the wind behind you, yes, turn, try that shot. Get a little height, little angle, little curl, and you're going to trouble a keeper, but not into the wind, as is the case for Central in this first half. Vosper just trying to crash her way through, but defensive work was sound, and the clearance pretty good as well, albeit not picks up possession for Northern. They'll start again across the back, and Mackenzie Barry, Lily Jervis. Now they advance to Emma Kitty, who's she's actively been trying to get into the game, but it's another little moment that sums it up. She's enthusiasm there and looking to get involved, but just not falling for her at the moment.
Good battle in the midfield though, with Malia Steinmetz really doing what she does best and winning those 50-50 challenges. She just has a knack to get the timing right, step in front and winning a lot of balls in there, but just the distribution after that wasn't quite there.
Yeah, certainly a strong, imposing figure, isn't she, Malia? And has played for New Zealand at under 17, under 20 and full national team level. And as we mentioned earlier, off to play for Perth. So if Malia thinks conditions today are pretty tough, get ready for a rude introduction to some pretty warm and stifling weather in Perth, I'm sure, over the summer. Good challenge, and it was an important one from Mackenzie Barry. She's shown a real willingness to anticipate and step in front of the Central players and try and intercept, and partly that's with the safety net of the wind behind you, because a teammate's likely to be able to get back in cover. Well kept in play, and what a goal! Well, did she mean it? It doesn't matter. That is a stunning finish. I was initially looking at where are the strikers looking to run onto this, but Ava Pritchard, what do you reckon, Scylla? Is this a cross that turns into a goal, or is this a piece of absolute brilliance?
Well, first off, hats off to Nicole Stratford for keeping the ball, and I thought it was going to run out of play. Just up, I think that's a shot for sure, and no stopping that. Absolutely cracking goal from Nicole Stratford. 2-0.
Oh, well done, and apologies, I gave it to Ava. She wouldn't mind having that one, but Nicole Stratford, goodness me. And that really has just given the Northern Lights the buffer going into the half-time break. What a blow that is for Central. They've battled away bravely, gallantly, but they do find themselves 2-0 down on the scoreline, and the risk here that Northern now really get their tails up and play with a lot of confidence with a 2-goal cushion. And they see this as a bit of an outlet now, don't they? Across, and it's not handled with any great surety by Amelia Simmers. Just invited a 50-50 challenge. So it's almost as though Northern very late in the first half have realised this could well be the way to go. Get it wide, deliver the ball into the area. Certainly their best moments have come from that right wing side for Northern.
Yeah, and we talked about the first half. Of the first half, there was a lot of play down this left-hand side, but they've looked more dangerous going out to the right, have Northern, and Stratford is one for scoring goals. She's often played even striker back in a few years ago, but prefers right fullback now, but certainly loves to score goals.
Yeah, and fullbacks just do. Some of the most exciting players in world football, men's and women's game. They often bring a bit of pace to their weaponry as well, and they do so much hard work defending. The good old-fashioned wing-back, they used to be called. I'm not sure technically in the modern game if that still exists, but expected to do a lot of work up and down that sideline. And on that occasion, Stratford got her reward for advancing, chasing what for some might have seemed to be a bit of a lost cause, just keeping it in play before she delivered the killer blow. Talking of fullbacks getting forward, here's Vosper on the left wing side. Rolls a nice pass now for Maynard. She checks, looks up, looks for support. Vosper there. They have to reset. Central just got themselves organised defensively. As we're in time added on in this first half. And really the only break in play was the injury initially to McIntyre, and then the eventual substitution. Played in again, just eluding the header there of Maynard, looking to make it 2 headers on goal, but just over the top of the Northern Lights striker. So first goal of the season, this current campaign for Stratford. Maynard, who scored the first, doubling her tally, the 19-year-old. She's now got 2 in this ISPS Handa Women's Premiership. That one from a long way out, and goodness me, Simmers was diving very early. It did go wide.
Looking at the Central players now, they're really just, I think, wanting that half-time whistle to blow so they can regroup. Just having, I think, just dropped off a little bit in their intensity in the last sort of 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's that pressure from Northern. They're just constantly at them. So approaching 2 minutes of time added on, so whistle not too far away, I'm sure, from Lindsay Robinson. And chasing back in cover is Lily Jervis. And back to Annalete. And the ball ends with Annalete at the end of the first half. She didn't have too many touches, a couple of saves, but they were very much just by the book, whereas Central have been on the back foot for much of the first half, as we see that long range attempt, and it wasn't far from that post. No wonder Simmers was diving, and that would have possibly killed the game off going into the half-time break. Some might say it's already done and dusted, but there's a lot of football still to play, and the Northern Lights will want to go on with this after that loss last week against Waikato Bay of Plenty. But they lead here at half-time over Central Football on the outer oval at North Harbour Stadium, 2-0. Well, welcome back. Second half not too far away from a start here with Northern Lights leading Central 2-0 in the ISPS Handa Women's Premiership Round 6 action. Andrew Dewhurst with you alongside Scylla Duncan as we look forward to a 45 minutes that will give Central some hope with the wind at their backs. But for Northern, their task has been described already a couple of times today by Scylla, that they need to win their remaining games to have a shot at playing in the final. And on the scoreboard anyway, I assume that Ben Bate would be reasonably happy with his side and the fact that they have that 2-goal cushion.
Yeah, it was a great goal by Nicole Stratford just before the half-time, and I'm sure that would be much a happier camp in the changing rooms as we're about to get underway now in this second half. And I think it might suit Northern actually going into this wind with the likes of Emma Ketty. As we get underway, she'll be wanting to perhaps get onto the through balls that they were trying to play in that first half, but just weren't quite getting it right with the wind at their backs.
Here's the goal scorer, Stratford, with a couple of early touches, the right fullback. She wouldn't have scored too many more spectacular goals than that, I'm sure, in her career.
I've seen a couple. I played with her at Onehunga a few years back.
Oh, she
and
got a few to skite about, has she?
We played her at centre back and at striker, just depending on what mood she was in that day. So, yeah, she's definitely good at defending and scoring goals. No changes that we're aware of during the half-time break. We'll keep an eye on proceedings, though, pretty closely and look to introduce the new players to you. There was that one change with Eve Barry on for number 4, Florence McIntyre. Eve Barry wearing 8 for Central. McIntyre unable to carry on after what looked to be perhaps an injury that she carried into the game that just flared up again. Certainly looked to be the right leg, possibly the right knee. Steinmetz for Knott. They had a lot of touches in midfield. Yeah, and we've talked a lot about Northern, but Central, I think, have been pretty impressive, especially their back four, with the combination of Woolley and Wiedemann. Oh, and we just got back in the action there, good, having to defend again.
Still haven't cleared the danger completely. And now they will get that chance to clear up towards halfway, but that's going to be their game plan, is the counter-attack. And they'll be faced with the same challenges that Northern were faced with. When you play that long ball over the top, the wind gets in behind it and just takes it away from the advancing players, and often it was into the hands of Amelia Simmers, the keeper. Well, Anna Leet here for Northern, she will have to play as a bit of a sweeper and be ready to perhaps come out of the penalty area at times and just be alert to the danger, but knowing that the wind is always bringing the ball with pace towards her. Jervis now over the top, looking for Stratford again. She won't need any encouragement to get forward again, try and add to that goal that she scored in the first half. Attacking throw here for Northern. Warm conditions here in Auckland today. That breeze is just complicating things a little for both teams. Northern now playing into it. That one swung into the area, but again, there's the effect of the wind just carrying it away from danger. Initial challenge, but Watts came away with possession. Now Vosper for Northern. Good ball played into the path there of Maynard, but her cross was not accurate enough, and Central can start again. Just kept in play. Good control, but then played the ball back into a dangerous area and invited Northern, and they're guilty too of wasting an opportunity. So some careless passing from both teams in the opening few minutes here of this second half. There's Barry, first half substitute for Central. Two number 8s coming together.
Good to see Central trying to play it to feet. As we look now, it looks to be a substitution early in the second half.
It's the goalkeeper. So a change in goal. That's unusual. That's unusual, and it's even more unusual to leave it until 5 minutes into the second half. So the change is made, and Amelia Simmers departs. And interesting that on the official team sheets that we were given, I do apologise, folks, but we just do not have a reserve goalkeeper listed. So that's curious on a couple of counts, but suffice to say that Simmers is now not out there for Central. Ball played over the top, Olsen chasing, but Leet, it's exactly what I was talking about earlier, right on the edge of the area, grabbing that one.
So at the other end, we've had Michaela Boxall come on for Central in goal. That was the substitution.
Wow.
And interesting to see that she's got the green shorts and green socks. So, I've known Michaela Boxall is usually out in the field. So,
well, she was listed as the number 9.
Very curious substitution there.
Maybe an injury concern. Maybe Simmers was given a few minutes to see how she felt out there, but often if there is a problem with a goalkeeper, there's no hesitation. You're either good to go or not. They're not often given a few minutes to try and run off an injury, but Boxall in goal.
She is also a goalkeeper in futsal, so has a bit of experience between the sticks. So it'll be interesting to see her performance in this second half. But she's scored one of the goal scorers for Central in this campaign, so she is normally more of an attack-minded player than being in goal. But she's very vocal, very experienced. I can already hear her sort of carrying out the instructions. So one of their older players, Boxall.
And if the first half was anything to go by, she will be busy. Northern Lights dominating that first 45 minutes. Central looking to reply as early as they can in the second half to give themselves some hope. They picked up the only point of their campaign against Waikato Bay of Plenty in the second round. That was a month ago, on the 7th of November. So it's been a long wait for further points. And when they've lost, they've often lost to a big scoreline, conceding 6 against Canterbury, 9 against Auckland. And the performance that showed a good deal of improvement was the 1-0 defeat last time out against Capital.
Central are also a team that Northern like playing. They had 2 big wins against them in last year's Northern National Women's League, 7-1 and 5-0, I believe. So they'll be wanting to kick on and get that kind of a scoreline today.
Well, there was a chance for Northern to test Boxall in goal, but Vosper couldn't control the cross. And Boxall's first involvement in this game will be with the goal kick. Stratford straight under the boot. Lancaster trying to advance that one, but takes a deflection, and they have the throw. Georgie Van Leenen.
Lancaster, one of the players in the under-17 New Zealand setup, would have been looking forward to an under-17 Women's World Cup this year, which of course was postponed because of COVID. But Lancaster is one of those up-and-coming players who hopefully will stay in amongst the New Zealand age group teams.
Yeah, I haven't followed the aftermath of a lot of those decisions, postponements and tournaments that have been put off. And I'm going to put you on the spot in a minute, Scylla. If you don't know, that's fine. But my question is, if they delay an age group tournament by a year, do they allow the players that were eligible to continue to play? And the look you've just given me says you're not sure either. But
putting me on the spot.
but it's a curious one, isn't it? Because if you do delay a tournament, I should have done my research, but what do you do? Because it would be awful, wouldn't it, for players to miss an age group tournament if technically they were too old for that age group because of a year's postponement.
Well, what I believed happened is it was initially postponed until 2021 with the intention of still allowing those same players
squads,
to play. However, there was a decision recently, I believe, that they were cancelled, that under 17 and under 20. Just got too difficult, so I'm 90% sure that's correct, but I may need to double check.
Yeah, but and that does seem to be the common sense approach. If you are postponing for a year, then simply allow those squads, those teams to be selected as they might have been. Northern just struggling to impose themselves in the opening 10 minutes here. Central have again started the half reasonably well, as they did in the first half. Problem here, of course, is they're playing from 2 goals down. Not. Is there space on the right? Trying to get the pass to Stratford. Well read and intercepted, though, by Van Leenen. She turns it over, though, and that means they might be a little bit out of shape here at the back. Not down towards the byline and just loses control and put out over the sideline. Northern throw on attack, right wing side. Savage, and good challenge. Savage went down pretty heavily, but it was shoulder to shoulder. The ball was there to be won. Lancaster turns and just plays that one over the back of the Northern defenders, and there is Leet well out of her area. She'll enjoy this. Chance to play with the ball at feet for a little bit. Poor pass by Northern. And coming back to tidy up was Arabella Maynard. A long way back. She's playing as a part of a front three, so she'd come back deep to try and get possession.
You saw Georgie Fennell on the ball breaking for Central. She's only 15 and
wow.
Just being pushed off the ball there. I think that's one of the challenges of the Central team, just very young, and Northern starting to win those 50-50 challenges, just showing that experience, I guess, but one for the future as well, Fennell.
Leet now. Jervis. Again, Forest, sorry, I was going to say Forest Hill, with Jervis playing for Forest Hill, but Northern guilty of just giving possession away in the middle third. Lovely movement by Lancaster, and then the cross just goes wide, and Leet was untroubled, knowing it was going wide of that far post, and wasn't anywhere near the advancing support players, but a nice little turn there, and a show that Central, through the likes of Charlotte Lancaster, can be threatening.
You'd be forgiven for saying Forest Hill. They do play in the same colours, this North Shore club, and a lot of the Northern players are playing. Here's one of them not.
Forest Hill and Glenfield. Is Glenfield the other club at the moment in the northern area that provides a lot of the players in this team?
They have been dominant, but are looking to, they're merging actually. So for the 2021, those two clubs becoming Northern Rovers, so they'll be even stronger. Maynard
eluding challenges and eventually bundled over. So for a moment looked like she might have been running down a dead-end street, Arabella Maynard, but she was just eluding defenders, and eventually the free kick conceded by Central, and this is it's in that danger zone. Central had a couple that were a little bit further out and a little bit wider, but this one, if the connection on the football is good, this may well trouble Michaela Boxall. So first test possibly coming up for Michaela Boxall in goal, the substitute goalkeeper. Not it is. No one else anywhere near the ball, so there's no question of a little dummy run here. Not over the wall, over the bar, no problem at all. And not the right technique into the wind.
No, she needed to drive through the ball there rather than just pitching under it, I think, getting too much backspin on it. You would have seen a couple of weeks ago, Annika Mittendorf scored a free kick for Northern Lights at the other end of the pitch, but a similar area. So she's not playing, not in the squad today, so bit of a missed opportunity, but I would have liked to have seen her on the ball if she was playing today. Yeah,
and missed opportunity for the Northern team, just to put some pressure on Boxall, just ask her to make a save. Chance now, and looking to roll the ball again. It just won't fall for Emma Ketty, will it? She was there lurking again in the penalty area. Just can't get the final pass to the feet of the number 9. And Boxall does go to ground and make the save.
Yeah, good minutes for Emma Ketty today. She's been used more as a substitute these last few games, so with these minutes up there, I'm sure she'll be very eager to get her first goal of the National Women's League.
Approaching half an hour to play in this one, and free kick given away, and Central with a chance to make another. No, it's not them making the change, it's Steinmetz leaving, so her work is done. Her shift is a 1 hour shift today, and replaced by Rose Luxton wearing the number 22. It's interesting that initially the team sheets came out today, Silla, with Luxton starting and Steinmetz on the bench, and we should acknowledge that that may well be the last appearance for Malia Steinmetz for the Northern Lights as she gets ready to head away to Perth. So pretty good shift, always a hard-working player looking to win possession and set things up as Northern through Knott down this right wing side. Stratford supporting. This is where she scored from. She won't try this time, just drives it across into the area, pulled back, surely a chance here, great tackle in the area, and then the free kick for Central. That was brave defending, but also a well-directed cross from Nicole Stratford.
Lovely play down the right-hand side by Northern. You like to see that overlapping run from Knott giving the ball out to Stratford, and a good cross in the danger zone. I wanted to see Ketty actually turn and shoot with her left foot, but unselfish play. She was trying to set up Liz Savage, I believe, but just no one could get the shot off.
And just again, we were just talking about it before that opportunity was created, but for Malia Steinmetz, if it is to be her last appearance, we wish her well as she heads away to Perth.
Yeah, following a couple of other players, I think Annalie Longo was the latest one, also confirming to be going over to that W League. Of course, this season we're trying to get the Wellington Phoenix to have a women's team, which didn't come off in the end, but a lot of the players, Olivia Chance is another one, so there are others that are picking up contracts. So Malia, I guess, will be first off happy that there was no injuries today, and I'm sure looking forward to going off to play in Perth.
That one looking for the fullback to be advancing, but it's gone into space and ultimately over the sideline. Jervis looks to go a little more direct, got a little bit lucky, and Emma Ketty there couldn't find a teammate. As we're talking about international opportunities, so goodness me, you look at the storied career of Emma Ketty, the 33-year-old, played in Canada, Finland, Australia, Germany, the USA, England. I'm not sure if I've missed any, but she's seen the world, hasn't she, through the game of football?
Absolutely, and those are the opportunities for players out there at the moment. So I guess in this league here at the moment, there's some 17, 18-year-olds that may want to follow in her footsteps. There's just a lot of opportunities out there in the Football Ferns Development Program. Run out here just in North Harbour, actually. We'll be wanting to get more of those kind of contracts for these players to go overseas and pick up that experience that Emma Ketty has along the way.
Almost playing as a right midfielder now. She's taking the throw. Central not out of this. That 2-0 scoreline is always a curious one as we see Luxton there making the challenge in midfield, the number 22, and just comes up short, wins it again. So they're getting out of Luxton what they got out of Steinmetz. Central on the break, shot from distance, just over the bar. Goodness me, Anna Leet was back pedaling. That was quite brilliant and almost just dipping under the crossbar.
Excellent opportunity for Central, and Anna Leet was jumping for it, thinking it was something she needed to save, and it was Barry who had the shot, the substitute who came on in that first half. So good work from Central, and you know that one goal back in it would put a lot of pressure on Northern Lights.
Yeah, and because I was just starting to say, So that 2-0 scoreline in football, it's crazy, isn't it? How many games have you been in either 2-0 up or 2-0 down, and when the scoreline goes to 2-1, it's very hard for the team that was leading to change the way that they were playing. You can often sit on 2-0, get a little bit defensive, get a little bit complacent, suddenly 2-1. It's hard to switch out of that again, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the other factor here, Northern are just settling into it after making that substitution. Malia Steinmetz, I think we shouldn't underestimate just how much of a ball winner she is in that midfield. And so I guess they're just sort of looking to settle, I think, here. And Central are taking advantage of that and just getting a bit more possession and a bit more composure and looking to get into the Northern Lights half. The other intriguing thing here, I think, for Northern, they're not really interested in goal difference. They are on 7 points at the moment. They need to get to 10 if they win here, with Kitty looking to get into the danger area. And
she does, but it's a good recovery, and it was Lancaster again. She's been impressive at both ends of the park. It looked for a moment there as though Emma Kitty had made some room on that byline to either shoot or certainly pull back a dangerous ball. Leet is closer to halfway as she released that than she was to her own goal. And 2 passes later, and it's with Michaela Boxall. Second half substitution in goal for Central.
She won't mind the ball at her feet either, having been an outfielder usually. Pretty good distance on that kick as well. Yeah. But as I was saying, the Northern Lights team, this would take them to 10 points if they can pick up the win. But they would then still be 2 points behind Mainland, who they would play next weekend. So they'd have to get the 3 points against them too. So they're not really bothered about goals here, of course, other than getting more confidence taking it into that match. But so they, I guess, don't want to get comfortable sitting on this 2-0 lead.
Central were looking to try one from distance again, having been inspired to do so by that shot from, it was a good 25 metres it seemed, from Eve Barry. Game just a little bit scrappy for the moment, so Northern now. Can they take advantage of Central pushing a few more players forward? That's always the risk. And again, it's the curiosities around that 2-0 scoreline. The team that are down 2-0, they'll take risks. They'll push players forward, so almost invites the opposition to sit back and try and play on the counter. There's Mackenzie Barry, the 2 sisters out there on opposing sides. Jervis now. And asking too much of Stratford, who had no response. Just didn't move. That was played well too far in advance of the right fullback. Rankin with the through ball, and Barry can't get on the end of that, but they are at least able to play with without being under the cosh quite so much. With the wind at their backs, they can just clear the danger zone a little more easily. Stratford, no option but to go back, and they'll play it across here for Leet. Back they go to the keeper again, so patience here from Northern, and Central just holding their shape as well, trying to force Northern into playing a long ball that can turn into a 50-50. It doesn't though. Savage, time to turn. Look at the space out here for Kitty, and also has Stratford. Ignores her though, into the area. Touch there, looking for a teammate, but well read by Central. And now Stratford does get into the game. Handy ball played across too, bouncing awkwardly. Boxall doesn't come. Trying to get it clear, Central. Well, Stratford we've seen score from out wide, and on that occasion that was a teasing cross played into right into the penalty area.
Be interesting to see here how Central react. They are 2-0 down, and they do seem to just still be sitting back. And I guess at what point are they going to chase the game? Are they going to look for a draw or a win? There's not much point in, I guess, just accepting a 2-0 loss. So I'd like to see them to get a bit more of a high press when Northern are trying to play it out from the back.
Lancaster, who's been one of their best, not too many attacking opportunities, a little too much pace on that through ball though.
Central having only picked up the 1 point, that draw against Waibop, and they'll finish their campaign next week against Southern, who are actually at the bottom of the table. So Central have finished last year, so yeah, it'll be interesting. They've still got plenty to play for. They won't want to have that wooden spoon, as it looks like there's going to be another substitution here.
Emma Ketty's day is done, so she doesn't score her first of the campaign, and she is replaced by the player that she replaced, if you like, because 19 Sam Tafaru is on, and that's a little bit of role reversal, isn't it, really, with Tafaru having been favoured as the starting number 9. Where's number 19, but she'll just slot in up front. Kitty certainly working hard for the cause, no question of that. Nothing left in the tank. She tried to impress Ben Bate and maybe put a hand up to start in their remaining fixture or fixtures, but no goals still for the experienced striker. Central, we've got a few forward here. It's the left fullback, Van Leenen, in almost a central striking role, so there could be some space to exploit here. Northern, if they can advance the ball quickly enough. Central, though, just send them in the wrong direction momentarily. And that just takes the sting out of the attack.
You saw Sam Tafaru get her first touch on the ball, and quite a different player from Emma Ketty, so also exciting to watch. But that classic sort of centre forward, she'll get the ball to feet. She's really good at protecting the ball. Gets her body between her and the defender. So just a different kind of setup now. I think you'll see her getting it to feet, and then perhaps for Pritchard to run onto in the back. So quite a different lineup now at the front. Yeah,
21 years of age, Sam. So another one in the formative stages of her career. As Central have a corner.
Like many of these players, has been in these states in the university setup, and the Central captain actually, Jensen, was due to go off to a college, is one of those who's had to put that on hold this year. So it's a bit of a disappointment, but still making a good contribution for Central as one of their attacking players here today, and hopefully that will come to fruition eventually with that move to the US.
Yeah, Georgie Van Leenen, we've seen, has the ability to deliver a dangerous ball. Does so again towards the far post. Central competing chance. Oh, scuffed attempt. Really, that was a pretty clear-cut scoring opportunity in the context of this game for Central. And it came again from good delivery by Van Leenen at set-piece time. That was an opportunity for Central.
Yeah, and it was that corner, I think they conceded in Auckland, by Auckland a couple of weeks ago. So they're not, they do sometimes concede at corners, Northern, so they will have to be careful with that. They should have really won the first one, but Central would have hoped to have at least got a shot off.
So we're into that sort of dangerous time now. 2-0 up Northern, but 17 minutes to go. But if Central were to get one back here, it certainly sets up a most intriguing final quarter of an hour or so. And then I don't doubt at all that Central would throw caution to the wind and send players into advanced positions. I can see they're just getting another couple of substitutions ready. So Barry Scullion is going to look to shake things up a little bit if he can. Rare opportunity. Natalie Olsen with the ball at feet. She's been chasing through balls all day, it seems. Van Leenen, that left foot of hers, cleared away on the edge of the area. Savage now for Northern. Central win it back. This is not the Central side that's conceded, and I'm talking quality, that conceded so many goals in some of their earlier matches, in particular 9-1 against Auckland in their opening match. They much improved, aren't they, through the campaign?
It's been one of those competitions. I think there's, you can't afford to have more than one bad day at the office. But with all of these top teams, you've seen them have that. With Northern against Waikato in their last outing. I think Central's poor performance was against Auckland in that first game. I was there to watch it, and conceding 9, I guess Auckland were just fired up. But it's one of those challenges again for Central. They don't get to train all week together because their players come from such vast geographical areas where you've got like the likes of Auckland and Northern who are training 3-4 times a week.
So the changes being made, and Van Leenen departs, and so too does Rankin. So Van Leenen is off, Rankin is off, and I did see Amy Atkins as one of the players coming on. I didn't pick up the second sub that's come onto the field for Central, but we'll try and catch up with that in the next moment or two. Olsen, good turn, great turn, lovely delivery as well. Here is the substitute, Atkins. Needs support. Central, have they got a strong finish in them? It looks as though Lancaster, well, she stayed on this left wing side. They may have gone to 3 at the back, Central, which is going to open them up for these sorts of opportunities for Northern. Savage advancing. All played into the area, nicely played into, good defensive work. Pretty sure that was Caitlin Watson there with a last ditch effort, and Olsen now chasing. And goes down under the challenge, and it is a Central throw. So that's why there was no free kick, because the Northern player there did win the ball.
Yeah, good link-up play just earlier between Savage and Tafaru, but no real quality at the end of it, with Maynard coming in but not getting that touch in the box.
Maynard, left wing side, cuts in field. Again, Central are fighting for everything. They're not lying down here by any stretch. Inside the last 14 minutes. Northern with a 2-0 lead. They must win today to keep their hopes of playing in the final alive. But they're going to have to continue to play well and pick up points in their remaining fixture, and maybe rely on other results as well. And that one from distance. Boxall can't get their chance now for the third. Boxall gets a hand on it. Important save. There was no flag at any stage in that movement, so that would have counted had it been scored. Stratford again tries another cheeky one, this time going at the near post.
Looking for another goal there, Stratford. I think Sam Tafaru was actually on at the back post, but wanting to set her sights on the goal.
In the midst of all of that, credit Michaela Boxall for a pretty good save. Got her left hand. Not sure who it was from Northern that had the shot on goal. It may have been Tafaru, but Boxall keeping the score at 2 and keeping her side's hopes, slim as they might be, but keeping them alive. Not allowed to turn, given a little bit of space. Elizabeth Savage, and Boxall almost misjudging, just recovered in time. Long clearance is met by an equally good defensive effort from Lily Jervis. Luxton, Central low on the attack. 15-year-old Georgie Furnell involved. Here come Northern. Bit more space in midfield now for the Northern players. Tiredness, but also just the desire to get forward, Central, and try and force the issue if they can. Just opening up some space for Northern. Can they take advantage of it? Stratford gets the ball back again. Nicole Stratford down to the byline. Chance for the cross. Pulls it back. It's handy. The header was well defended though, and Central player has gone down in the penalty area here. Decision is a goal kick. I'm not sure, Scylla, whether this... Initially I thought it might have been a head knock, but I think the reaction is saying otherwise. Might be a concern with an ankle here. Yeah, just on landing.
just grabbed her left ankle there. Maybe the way that after she's jumped up for the header, or maybe a bit of cramp. I guess great to see the run down the wing, and as a coach I think you always love to see that going to the byline, and a very handy cross by Nicole Stratford, but I think some of the players wanted a corner out of that. Bit of touch and go.
So Caitlin Watts looking to try and run off the discomfort if she can. Still doesn't look like she's running too freely. Cramp will do that to you. It's like you've been hit by a sniper. So approaching 10 minutes to play. There'll be a little bit of time added on, if only for the substitutions that have been made. So perhaps an optimistic view might be there's 15 minutes left maybe for Central. But they need to have an impact on this match in the next couple of minutes, you would think, if they are to try and force the issue and make things a little uncomfortable here for Northern. It's one of the substitutes, so looks like Sue Herring has got out there wearing 15 for Northern. I missed that, I do apologise folks. An American player, Silla. So another one of the changes made by the respective coaching staff. Stratford. And often when you do see these multiple changes made, the shape of the game, you can just lose shape, lose its pattern a little bit as players look to try and settle in.
Yeah, there's been a bit of rhythm loss to this game, I guess, now. And I'd still like to see Central push forward a bit more here. They've got nothing to lose, and here they go on the attack. This is what we'd like to see more of, I think. Maybe just a bit of an inexperience showing. They are mostly under 20, these Central players, but you may as well go for a result, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And another change is going to see Ava Pritchard replaced. There is the change taking place, and it is Talisha Green who is out there. And Talisha Green, another young player, I think aiming up at the next under 20 squad, a contender for that New Zealand team.
She's already scored one goal so far, so we're looking to add to that tally, although she's only got under 10 minutes to do it.
So if Northern were reasonably happy at half-time with that 2-0 advantage on the back of a spectacular goal from Nicole Stratford, I wonder if Ben Bate might be a little less pleased now, given that they haven't added to that scoreline. They can still, though. Stratford tries with the left foot that time. And really have had one or two moments, but I can't recall anything that would have troubled Central too much. Now it might be the case, and instead of shooting, I'm pretty sure she was looking to cross that, Sam Tafadu, and I wonder if pulling the trigger might have been the better option.
Clear opportunity here for Northern. It was a great ball through, I think, by Knott, and I thought she was just going to hit that one, but just in between, she couldn't make up her mind, I guess. I thought she was going to go for the near post shot, but otherwise she needed to square the ball more, and in the end it was very easy for Boxall.
Almost just got the ball caught up under her feet, didn't she? Just didn't quite get it out in advance of her with that first touch.
Surprising, really, because she is a natural goal scorer, so I just thought she was going to pull the trigger there.
Central survive. I was about to say that I can't recall too many really scary moments for Central at the back. Northern haven't created that many obvious goal scoring opportunities, a couple of 50-50s. But that was the best moment of the half for Northern, albeit they didn't get on the score sheet and add a third, and surely what would be then a killer goal to win all 3 points.
It's been a solid performance, but not convincing by any stretch, and definitely not as good as they were against Auckland here a couple of weekends ago, where they just seemed to be on fire and they were really up for that game, and I think they'll be really needing to find that form again ahead of their next match against Mainland Pride, which is a must-win, of course a repeat of last year's final.
Swung into the area, and Te Whāru unable to get a touch. So Central, have they got anything left in the tank? Cheap free kick given away. Chance for Northern just to settle. I do sense that they're the more eager of the two sides to finish this one strongly, so looking to perhaps add to the 2-goal tally if they can. Central's efforts to try and get back into the match might just have taken a toll. We saw Caitlin Watts cramping up earlier, so perhaps the needle is on empty for Central. Atkins beaten. Two substitutes are coming together there. Chance at the far post, and Boxall with a brave save. It'll be a corner. Good defending though by the substitute keeper. That one was swung in by Green towards the far post, just asking questions of defenders and goalkeeper. Yours, mine, whose?
Absolutely, that's the kind of ball you want to come in as a striker. It just wasn't quite there for the goalkeeper to come and get, but also behind the defenders in that tricky kind of area. So good ball in from Green, trying to get it. Probably would deserved an assist there, but good goalkeeping in the end by Boxall.
Inside the last 5 minutes of regulation time anyway. Knotts with the corner. She can belt this with confidence, knowing that the wind will combat any in-swing. Does so towards the penalty spot, so perhaps a little closer to goal. Boxall doesn't come right on her line, and the ball ends up right in her mitts as well, but that was an opportunity for Northern. Central, any chance of a counter attack is gone. Northern with plenty back. Here's Barry. Turns. And that's swung with more hope than any real conviction. And Leitz, who's been something of a passenger through the majority of this match, at that one scary moment midway through the second half when Eve Barry let rip, and Leet was happy to see it just go over the crossbar. So the points would appear to be safe. Can they, though, add to their goal difference in a positive sense, Northern? They don't want to concede one late and impact on that particular statistic in a negative way. And flag may well have gone up there. Knott was well advanced, but the ball too far in advance anyway.
Central just still keeping really deep there, and I guess it's easier to sit here from a commentary box, but I'd like to see them push higher up the field, just pressure it when Anna Leit's playing out from the back there. They've got nothing to lose, but as you said, I think the tank's running a bit on empty. They haven't had a lot of possession, and in a game like this, I guess where the sun's shining and you've been defending most of the game, it's quite hard to get up the other end of the pitch. Yep. as a unit. Yeah,
I think the legs might have gone. And a chance now for Northern into the area. Oh, good defending, really good defending. Northern asking for a decision in their favour there, but certainly felt to me that the defender got the right side between the ball and the attacking player. Might well have been Jana Niedermeyer doing great work at the back there. Niedermeyer and Woolley, the centre backs for Central, who've been busy throughout most of the match.
Yeah, I've been impressed by them. I think Niedermeyer is another one of those coming through, and Leon Burney has had her in the under-17 squad. So for 17, just to have at the centre back already starting position in the National Women's League, she's kind of showing wisdom and experience beyond her years.
Chance here now, right wing side again. The ball squared across, and on cue it was Niedermeyer. Oh, and that's a weak effort on goal. She'd want that one back again, Talisha Green, but again we saw Niedermeyer right place, right time, just blocking the cross, but they're just not incisive enough, Northern. That may well be the biggest talking point out of this for them and the coaching staff is to work on their finishing and work in the attacking third. Lancaster almost breaking there for Atkins on that left wing side.
Tell you what, I've been quite impressed with Boxall though, coming in on into the replacement goalkeeper position. She's looked quite comfortable there.
Well, and you said it, that she's talkative, she's confident, she's a bit older, so maybe it's as much that as anything else. She's just out there trying to boss things, and she'll get involved here again now. But just doing, look at that little step over.
Right on cue. Yeah, no, she is an experienced player. She's been in the last couple of campaigns in the Women's National League. I just haven't personally seen her in goal.
Not the skipper.
Palmerston North Marist Club, where a lot of these players from Central compete in that Lower North Island W League season.
So time ticking away towards a conclusion as far as the regulation 90 minutes are concerned. There will, however, be some time added on by the officials, and I can confirm 4 minutes added time, so minimum 4 minutes. Green, and that one driven towards the near post, but Boxall happy to allow that into the side netting.
Still a lot to play for, especially these substitutes coming on. That was a bit of a disappointing cross or shot from Green, but the likes of her and Luxton and Herring coming in, they haven't had a lot of minutes, so I guess with still that one game to play in the regular season and potentially the final, they'll be wanting to stamp their mark and ask for, I guess, more minutes from the coaches if they can put on an impressive showing.
Yeah, they're pretty much setting up a almost a sudden death semi-final, aren't they, Scylla? Maths was never my strong point, but you've talked about it a couple of times. This pretty much comes down to must-win next week, and they can go through to the final, can't they? Capital can't catch them, can they?
No, Capital are out. Unfortunately, they've got a bye in that last round. So yesterday, a disappointing result to lose 4-0 to Canterbury Pride puts them out of contention. So I guess the three teams we're looking at are Northern, Auckland very much in contention, still top of the table, but leading Canterbury Pride on goal difference. So it's going to all come down to those last matches. I think a draw potentially will do for Auckland, but out of Northern and Canterbury, Northern will have to win if they're to hope to get to the final.
So that really does set up an intriguing one, and that's down in Christchurch. So away from home anyway for Northern, we think. Leets, that was belted back at her, wasn't it, with a little bit of added spice, the back pass, but Leet was good enough to cope with it. Northern still trying to finish on a high note here if they can. Lovely turn. And blocked by Central. They haven't stopped trying. Barry now, very left-footed player in midfield, and has been pretty accurate with most of her work. Boxall under pressure. Belts it up towards halfway. Left wing side now for Northern. That one swung into the area. Green's gone down, gets back up again. Might have a chance to shoot on goal here. Green took a long time, come back off the woodwork, and what a save, Boxall. What a save by the defender. Eventually, it's brought it home. Well, how many times, how many opportunities? Eventually, Sam Tafaru, it is, I believe, that scores this one, but that's unlucky. Boxall gets a hand on that, onto the post, gets up. Look at this for a save. Great piece of work, but look at where it falls. Again, off the body of a defender, and Sam Tafaru just calm, standing there, waiting, and they do get their third, and that clearly now confirms all 3 points will go the way of Northern.
Great persistence there from Sam Tafaru, and it was a really good shot, actually, in the early stage by Green, and as you said, a hand on the shot, and again Boxall pretty impressive, but they couldn't keep it out. So a bit disappointing, really. It looks like more of a convincing win now with that late goal, but well deserved, I guess, for the goalkeeper, for the substitute Tafaru.
And Emma Kitty will be watching that, thinking, "Goodness sakes! I mean, I was running my proverbial off for an hour or so. I couldn't get a look in, hardly got a chance, and Sam gets a tap-in. That's the way it rolls.
The life of a striker, eh?
Northern, can they finish with a fourth here? That would be cruel, I think, on Central. Green just held up a little. Not. Out on the left wing side now. Good play by Northern. Some of their best moments of the match. Chance now for the cross to be delivered. Just took a little too long. Chipped over the keeper, and it's in. Oh, that is absolute brilliance. Boxall and her teammates look across to the sideline as if to say, how on earth did Maynard get there if she wasn't offside? But there's no flag, there's no whistle other than that to signal the goal.
A few claims there by the Central players. You see their Central defender just turning around and looking for the offside play, but should have stayed in the game, and it's just lifted over into the net. Great goal by Maynard. So that's her second of the game, and I believe third of the campaign. So,
goodness me, they've just battered away, have Northern, without looking too threatening at times, and suddenly in the last 90 seconds of the game they score two to blow that scoreline out to 4-0 in the end. So they do help their goal difference a little. Not that matters, because they now go to the final round against Canterbury Pride, knowing that a win will book themselves a spot in a final. Could well be an all-Northern final, with Auckland already sitting on 12 points. Canterbury Pride on 12, and that'll push Northern Lights up to 10 points alongside Capital. But Capital are done and dusted, aren't they? They can't add to theirs with a bye next week. But Central, I think they can be proud of their efforts today. Scylla, they really did battle away. They had a couple of half chances. We think of that shot from Eve Barry. They did have their moments, and it's been a tough campaign for them. But they've done pretty well here in testing conditions with that breeze and a fast and flat pitch surface, but ultimately Northern just a little bit too much class.
Yeah, football can be a cruel game sometimes. I think they were looking to go away with the 2-0 loss and with their heads held high, and I guess they still can, Central, but just perhaps losing concentration right at the end there, and perhaps a bit of a flattering scoreline in the end, 4-0. Disappointing for Central. You see the players there really just pretty exhausted, I think. Having to come away from home is always tough, and Northern will just have that extra confidence boost now that those two late goals sort of have given them. So 2 goals in each half. I guess they can go away pretty happy, Northern Lights.
Certainly sets up a most intriguing final round coming up in the ISPS Women's Premiership, with the debate still raging as to who will play in the final. It certainly looks like it's down to the 3 sides, Auckland, Canterbury and Northern. But of those 3, which 2 will make it, we will have to wait another week to see. But good performance by Northern as they put that upset loss against Waibop last week behind them with a 4-0 win on behalf of Scylla Duncan and the team. Thanks for your company this afternoon, and we'll see you next time for some more great football on the ISPS Handa Women's Premiership.